it definitely was not my game. I didn't buy it. Thank goodness you bought it for me, and it was nice and convenient for leveling up weapons. It worked out for me, but not the best game. Not my favorite game.
Welcome back, people. We're glad to be back. It's been a little while. Actually, technically, it hasn't been that long because the last video we put out wasn't that long ago. But long time in terms of the comparison to what we were doing before. Long story short, we're back. We're here for you guys, and we've come up with a resolution and a way to solve our issues here. Because obviously, we're very few and far between on these videos. How often we're making them, when they're getting posted, yada, yada, yada. So we found a way to mitigate that issue, and that's going to be setting up a schedule and getting a video out weekly for you guys. So similar to what we were doing before, maybe not as often, but way more often than it has been for quite some time. So for you guys that have been stuck around and like watching these videos and stuck, been part of these conversations, been watching, I hope you're as excited as I am. And obviously Rob's very excited. You can see that look on his face.
So freaking excited, man. Oh man. No, it'll be cool. It'll be good to get back on a more like frequent schedule doing these episodes. I think doing them once a week is cool. I mean, obviously if we feel like doing maybe 2 in a week, we'll do it, but at least we have a set schedule. We're being responsible adults. Adults? I'm pronouncing like, adult wrong.
Low key, it kind of sounded like you're about to say Adolf Hitler.
Oh,
like no. Adolf Hitler?
That's not where I was going with that at all. But yeah, it'll be cool to be like on a nice schedule. So it should be cool. Hopefully you guys like it. And yeah. So what's going on, Troy? You're in a different place than normal.
I am. I'm in my
basement. Different back there.
I'm in my basement, which I'm going to be turning into a recording studio soon, which was a recording studio originally, and then turned into a lounge, and now is a storage room, and it's going to go back to a recording studio. It's complicated, but that's what's going to happen. That's why I'm down here.
I like it.
So my setting's a little different. I recently buzzed off all my hair, which is fun.
I could see that.
That was cool. Making a lot of music. That's pretty cool. But more importantly, fuck what I've been doing. The main thing is we should get into beer. And it's been a while since I've done it, since I kicked it off, I think. So I'm going to just, I'm going to go right in. And actually, just as a disclaimer, I've never had this before. So Hog Island, I don't know. It is.
Never heard of them.
Nauset Haze. Okay, it's a New England IPA handcrafted with Warrior, Citra, Idaho Gem, and Rakow hops. Orleans, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Okay. Okay, so there's something here. I don't know what this is. Hog Island, located on Little Pleasant Bay in Orleans, not New Orleans. Cape Cod overlooks our famed Nauset Beach and the dune shacks that dot her coastline. It's rumored that Captain Kidd buried treasure on the island. Many have attempted to locate it. We feel we found it. Cheers to liquid treasure. So they're hyping this up to be something fucking magical. Because I fuck with Captain Kidd. That's my dude.
I mean, that's their job, right? They got to hype it up. Got to get a little excited.
So let's see. It's good. It's good. Hold on. We're going to go back in. It is good. I think this will get better as time goes on. I don't know if this is it yet. It's good, but I don't know.
So what is this? This is a hazy IPA? What is this?
It's a New England IPA. It is very hazy. And you definitely taste those fucking Citra hops. Like, I mean, that's like every IPA ever, but it's really good. It's just I don't know, man. I'm gonna circle back. I'm gonna pull the White House thing, and I'm gonna circle.
Oh, back. Okay, all right. That has become very popular, that term lately, hasn't it?
So I'm gonna circle back. But in the meantime, you can tell me about your beer.
All right. So my beer is. I just randomly found this. I gotta be honest, guys.
Rob.
What?
Hey, shut up. I have an announcement to make before you get into your beer.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, so
I thought you were. That seemed like you were segueing into me going into my beer review.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. Now I have something to say, and I want to say it.
All right. Well, say it. Don't spray it though.
Hmm. No, so I just want to throw this out there too, because like we were talking about being more frequent with videos and posting and creating whatever. So what we're gonna try to do, this is a part of our two-step plan, is we're gonna be doing a lot more on our Instagram page. So as I have been doing, or actually I've been doing it as frequently in the past couple of videos, but I'm gonna make it a part of our description where I leave all the tags and stuff and handles for like Instagram, things like that. But on our Instagram, we're gonna start doing more frequent beer reviews. So every week we're gonna make it a very, a big effort to get specific kinds of beer, like beer we've never had before. So that way we can, over time, really create a catalog of different beers that we've tried on these episodes, and those will be the beers that we review. So we'll go a little bit more in depth. We'll talk about them. We'll post pictures. We'll do like a little bit more research, because like obviously at first glance, that's really what this is. I mean, we're cracking these beers usually for the first time ever, so we've never actually had them. So it's hard to give a full in-depth review. We can go off taste, but that only goes so far. So I think giving a little bit more background would be cool. So we're going to try to do that. And now I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let Rob talk about his beer.
Yeah, it'll come in handy. I started toying around with that like a couple months ago. I was posting pictures of the beer and little promo clips of maybe what we were having, but we're going to get better with that. So at least the Instagram side of things will be a little more interesting. And again, you'll get that more in-depth idea or review or opinion of the beer on that page. Because, you got to give yourself a little time. Here in this video, you're live seeing a Stride for the first time, unless it's a beer we've had before, but you'll get more in depth on those posts. So that'll be cool. So what I got today is, so there's this place I stop at. It's actually a gas station. They have a pretty decent beer selection, not like amazing, but like not bad. So I saw this in there today and I was like, why the hell not? Let me pick it up. It's got a weird name. It looks like it could be good. I don't know. So this is Licking Hole Creek Craft Brewery. That's the name of the brewery. And this is the beer right here. It's Nuclear Nugget. That is the name of the beer. It is a Imperial Honey IPA. We got a 10.5% alcohol on this bad boy. Let's see if I can read the description here. I don't want to make you guys suffer through this too much. Nuclear Nugget is a hop bomb. It's not delicate or subtle. What it is a hop head's dream fulfilled. Nuclear Nugget explodes with flavor notes of citrus flowers, centennial, and strong herbal spice notes. Nugget. Local clover honey attempts to contain the nugget fallout. Wow. Okay. Only to be radiated with dry hop nugget additions. Not intended for the faint of heart or the uninitiated. I like the description. Let's see where it goes with this. I guess it's Virginia's Farm Brewery. I don't know why that says that, because the other thing says Licking Hole Creek Craft Brewery. So maybe this is like a collaboration of some kind. I don't know why there's like two different companies here, but let's see. Let's try this here.
Or maybe some of the hops are sourced from Virginia Farms Brewery, but the actual brewing company that makes the beer is Licking Hole.
It's an interesting name for a brewery, right? Licking Hole. I like it though. It's kind of like
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Wow, that they're not kidding, man. They say explosive flavor. I mean, the thing is literally talking about nukes, and they're not kidding. Like this is one of those beers where we talk about like what do you taste when you first have the beer, and then the aftertaste. I'm a big guy and I like a good aftertaste. This thing comes right at you. And if you're not into IPAs, you're not into that hoppiness, you're probably not going to like it. But that would go for most IPAs, I would say. If you do like IPAs, I definitely think you're going to instantly like this. Like, it hits you hard, but it's a good taste. And then I would also say that the aftertaste is good too. I'm going to go in for another sip here.
I think I've come up with an idea on my beer. So I'm not going to say it's solid, like it's not 100%, but I'm getting there. So
okay,
but go on. So
we'll circle back again. We'll circle back to Troy. There's going to be so many circles. It's going to be kind of like this circle right here,
like a Venn diagram
around the logo here. Yes. All right. So I'm trying to see if I can taste that honey. This, I do taste it, but it's not strong, and I think that's a good thing because I feel like a beer like this, if the honey was a little bit too powerful and it hit you a little bit too hard, it would kind of take away from that, IPA taste. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a little ignorant on so an Imperial honey IPA. So Imperial, I think, what was the Imperial part? Because it was listed here, I think. Oh, maybe it wasn't. I don't know what makes it Imperial. Like, what is different about that? I'll be honest, I'm not up on that, but I gotta say, I like it, man. Like, I would say this is a nice, solid 8 out of 10. Bam, hits you with flavor right when you first have it. Not too sweet, just that little subtle honey flavor coming through, and the aftertaste is good too. Like, it delivers on both. You have a good instant taste and the aftertaste. So, I would say I'm definitely impressed with this. And the other thing, actually, I just thought of that I spoke about earlier is this is 10.5% alcohol by volume. So this is like quite a strong beer, and I gotta say it masks it pretty damn well. It probably with those hops. It really this does not taste like it's 10% alcohol, but yeah, man.
All right. So, I mean, the main thing is obviously that if you guys ever go and for the people that are watching, if you're ever like, wow, that beer actually seems pretty cool, and you go and try it, never take our word for it. I mean, this is so opinion based and biased in every sense of the word. We do try to be fair about this kind of stuff. Like even the stuff that we don't really like we can at least be like, okay, well, I could see how this person might like it. We try to give that the benefit of the doubt, but it always comes with a grain of salt. So, that's where my encouragement is going to lead, because I would say to everybody and anybody who is interested in trying these beers out, if you do try them out, just go ahead, comment, message us, whatever. Let us know what you think about beers, or I mean the games too when we get to that, whatever it is. That goes a long way. And also requests. I mean, we've gotten some requests along the way. We haven't been too great about that, but again, we also haven't been great about making videos in general. So hopefully when we're back on track in this near future, we'll be able to get more in tune with that. But again, just let us know what you think about the beer. As far as my beer goes, all right, so I had a hard time putting my finger on it because I was tasting a lot of the Citra, and I think maybe that was like what was hitting me so much, and I couldn't really get to the other stuff. So it doesn't have it listed, but I will say it almost seems like there's like a honey flavor in this one as well. When you said it, that's what stuck out to me. But I'd say for this one, in terms of the way it hits your palate, so some beers, they're really upfront and punchy, right? I don't feel like this is that. I feel like the middle of it, like when you're actually absorbing it, like going for a full sip, you get a lot of the punch, not right off the rip, and then it's like a nice, really smooth, like kind of honey, like sweet at the end. So it's almost like a drop off, but in a really good way. But the way I would describe this is like, to me, this is, even though it's a strong beer, it's a 6.7 ABV. Like this would be a good session beer. This would be something if you wanted to like sit down, or like maybe not drink a ton of them. So maybe not a session beer, but something that you could sip slow on, and you wouldn't have to, you wouldn't be throwing these back, but they're really enjoyable. So that's where I would leave mine at. And I'll get more into the, the specs and what I really feel about the beer when we get to the review, which I'll leave this week for you guys. But enough about the beer. We know beer is great. Beer is our best friend. And what we don't know is what we're going to talk about today. So as a little bit of a disclaimer, we play a lot of Warzone, or we don't. See, that's where the catch is.
You probably noticed by now we play a lot of Warzone.
We've been playing a lot of Warzone, but that's where this video is different. Not only do I have a new haircut, and Rob is not as ridiculous. Rob's
not as fit as I may have been months ago.
But here's the other side to that coin. You've been playing something else. I know. Nuts. How the fuck do they play anything other than Warzone? I don't know. But I figured something out. There's a lot of good stuff out there. And one of those things I've been slacking on, and I don't know why I did. I don't know what it was. Apex motherfucking Legends has been it. Okay, we are going to touch on Call of Duty, but that's something separate. It's just Vanguard. And that's only because Rob's been playing that beta, and there's some stuff to be said about that. But the main thing for today is that
the main course.
Yeah, the main course, the entree here, as the baby spoon feeds himself. No, so like we've been playing a ton of that, and it's been really fun. It's been really like a breath of fresh air for me. I think I got really winded out on Warzone. If you watched our last episode, I really talked about how much I was not a fan of Verdansk and how I started playing so much Rebirth.
Verdansk.
Verdonk. But yeah, like me and Rob, we were playing Rebirth for like a solid week and a half, 2 weeks, and we were playing pretty religiously. And then I don't know what happened. I just randomly kind of was like, oh, let me give it a shot. And I'd done that in the past with Apex, but something hit different. And maybe it was updates, maybe it's because the new season's out with like the new character. But now I guess because the game's had enough time to expand and grow and evolve, it's something. I'll touch more on it without me going too into the loop. Rob, what are your thoughts on
Well,
Apex?
here's what I want to say too, which is kind of funny. Like I randomly started playing the game like a couple weeks before you started playing it again. I just randomly played a couple games and I had a good time. I actually came in like second place. I think obviously me and you were both kind of sick of Verdansk. So then we're like, okay, well, we're still into battle royales or this kind of gameplay. So let's go to Rebirth. And that was fun for a couple weeks. I mean, I'm sure if we played it right now, it'd be fun. But for whatever reason, yeah, you decided to go play it. And I had played it by myself, so I didn't have my crew with me or a good group to play with. I was playing with like randoms. I think I played a game with a mod, my buddy. But yeah, then we started playing. What by now it's probably what, like a couple weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, like 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So we started playing it, and like it kind of instantly was a breath of fresh air just from. Uh, I mean, there's a lot to say. So let's preface it for anybody that does not know. So Apex Legends is a battle royale. It's not 150 players like Warzone. I think it's actually, is it 80 or 70 players, something like that.
40, I think, or 60.
No, maybe 60. I feel like it's more than 40.
It's 60 players. 60 players. I'm sorry.
I don't know where I got that 70 or 80 from then. But either way, it's so you're playing either duos or trios. There's no quads, so that's different. There's multiple maps, so there's 3 maps instead of just one. They're all good. None of them are. It's not like you play a map and you're like, oh man, this map sucks. They're all good. The other thing is there's classes, or not classes, but like let's say every character has their own specific abilities, almost like if you were to play like a paladins or a why do I always forget the name of this one? What is it? League of Legends, yeah. What's the other? Overwatch. That's the one I was thinking of. So like every character has their own abilities, like passive abilities, kind of an ultimate attack. Just certain things that they have. So there's that element that makes it different too. The other thing is, as anybody who plays Warzone knows, you accumulate money. You use that money to, like, let's say buy an airstrike or a UAV, or bring your buddy back who may have died, or buy your loadout. So now you call in your loadout and you have the loadout that you want. Apex Legends is more like some other battle royales where you fall on the map and it is up to you to get the gear that you want. And so part of that is random, and part of that is, okay, you're going to select, okay, do I want to go with this weapon versus that weapon? But there's no loadouts. There's none of that kind of thing. Like you're dropped on the map. Hopefully you find the loadout you're looking for, the gear you're looking for, and you go and play. And I got to say, man, it's such a good breath of fresh air because you have multiple maps to play on. So that instantly helps. You have all these different characters that do different things. So it just feels so different. And then also, again, like I just brought up, the gear, picking up gear, and you don't instantly, or like, let's say like you're playing Warzone, in the first 5 minutes, someone may have already bought their loadout and they're already, like, the advantage they have over you is insane. And not to say that can't happen in Apex. I mean, somebody can drop and get like purple armor and a really good gun with a bunch of attachments, very quickly. That can happen too. But just the way the game feels and plays out is different. I feel like, because I almost feel like maybe the maps are a little bigger than you'd want them to be, because there are moments where with the 60 players on the map where you're running around and you don't run into anybody for a while. That happens in Warzone obviously too, but I don't know. I think the game is good. I love that there's different characters. As you play different characters, you're going to kind of figure out what your play style is. It's kind of nice to change it up. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of like if you're playing Super Smash Brothers or something. Like, you kind of have your main character that you like and your go-to, but then there's other, secondary or third characters that you like to mix it up with too, depending on maybe the group you're playing with or what's going on. So I got to say, I love it. I usually play as Bangalore. That was always my favorite because like one of her passive abilities, if she's getting fired at, she's able to sprint for like about 5 seconds. So she's good at getting away from combat. She can fire smoke grenades, so she can give cover to the team. And then she has like an airstrike she calls in, which is it's okay, it's not bad. But my favorite is oh man, I almost said Nautilus. Caustic. What is his name? Now I'm forgetting his name. What is it?
Caustic, you had it right.
Caustic. Nautilus is from League of Legends. We were talking about that earlier. Nautilus is like this character that hooks people. I'll drop that one. I don't know why I'm confusing the two, but Caustic, that's my boy. I love him, man. You could set up these like poisonous trip mines. You could set them all around the perimeter, so it kind of deters people from attacking you. It's actually better as a deterrent than it is like an actual like damaging and hurting the player. But he's my boy. I love playing as him.
Yeah.
And yeah, Shorei's got his characters that he likes. But I gotta say, the game is really good. It's well balanced. I don't feel like any of the weapons are like bad per se. Because like even let's take a weapon like the Mozambique, which is like this little shotgun you can pick up. It's like almost looks like a pistol. And pretty much every time you pick that up, you're like, this thing sucks. But if you really start using it and learn how to use it and how to run behind cover, maybe, or I feel like every gun is not that bad. I mean, obviously, some guns are going to be a little better than others. You'll have preferences, but I think the game is balanced quite well. And yeah, man, that's my opinion of it. I'm having a great time with it. It's fun. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know, like on the horizon, what is there anything planned soon for that? Like, are they putting out more maps, more characters? I'm sure they're putting out new characters. It seems like every month or a couple months they put out a new character. But I don't know what's on the horizon in the immediate future. But yeah, man, I really like it. So what have you been thinking about it?
So I was just gonna touch on. I'll echo a couple of things, or expand a little bit. So weapons, yeah, I think the weapon balancing is definitely on point. Like you can really pick anything up, and if you know how to use it, you can make and like really make the most of it. Every gun is very, very viable, in my opinion. Maybe outside of like the P2020, that's a little questionable, I guess. So that's like
Is that the little pistol?
yeah, it's a standard pistol. But like even there's so many different options. I like the fact that so in this game as opposed to some other BRs, Warzone included, you don't have per se an ammo cap. It's as much ammo as you carry in your bag, but ammo does occupy slots in your bag. You can craft in certain cases. So the same thing you were talking about with the money, although it doesn't really have that, it does have crafting materials which you can collect, which is similar to money. It is like a form of currency, and you can use that at crafting stations. You can construct bags, helmets, depending on. And what I really like is the cool dynamic about that is that they constantly switch over. There's a weekly rotation of items and or sites or whatever it is, and then there's there's daily rotations, and then there's concrete options. So and I don't know if that changes over the seasons or not, but the concrete options are pretty much the way they are. Those never change. So you can build shield cells, I'm sorry, if you don't have any armor. So in this game you have a vest essentially, or armor, and over time you get hit, and obviously the armor gets chipped away. You have shield cells which you use to repair the armor, and obviously this is probably very useless information for most people, but for those of you who aren't aware, and even in that case, like in Call of Duty, you run out of plates, you can go buy plates, sure, but for the most part, it becomes really difficult, especially with all the camping. What I do like about this, as opposed to Call of Duty, is that not only do the items and the availability in those crafting stations constantly switch, but it's also there's not like nobody camps crafting stations, nobody cares, which I love. Like that's a great thing. And crafting stations drop down. Oh, by the way, everybody, yeah, that's our new logo. Rob, put your hand on the camera.
Oh. There we go. Yeah, I was trying to find it, guys. Sorry if my clicking was a distracting and annoying.
That's the new logo, guys. So love to hear what you guys think about that. Rob reached out to a friend of his who does really great digital artwork, and he was able to put that together for us. So I'm really happy with it. Rob's really happy. But
yeah, he's awesome. I'll plug him real quick. His name is zwhitley .illustration. That's his name on Instagram.
So yeah, that guy was able to hold it down for us, which is really awesome, and the logo came out great. Anyways, so yes, So that's a big thing, obviously, crafting and not having to worry about camping and that. But I'd also say, you know, when you said earlier, you were like, oh, well, sometimes the maps are a little bit bigger. What I like is that the games go relatively quick. Games don't last really longer than like 15 to 20 minutes. And
Mm.
but in that 15 to 20 minutes, so much can happen and shit pops off so quickly. And because there's so much diversity in terms of the characters and what's possible, the outcome of fights can vary so drastically that it makes for a really interesting playthrough, no matter if the game lasts you 3 minutes and you die early or if the game lasts you the whole 20 and you win. So I think that's a really cool thing. The ending circle battles are always really good. But one thing that stands out to me the most is that by far, I think Fortnite probably has a better uh, audio tracking, but I mean, this game's audio is great. You can hear people from like 20, 30 meters out, unless they're like
Oh my
walking
God.
or crouching or really trying to sneak up, um, which is, to me, one of the best things in the world. I love the fact that there's not guessing that has to be made. You know, typically when people are running up on you, you can prepare, you can be ready, and it gets battles going. So although that might sound to some people like, oh, that's shitty, it's not, because all it really means is that you don't have to question whether or not there's some fucking loser who's trying to
No,
like camp and
what it
running around
means
a
is that the
building.
audio works. I mean, like
Yeah.
me and you don't necessarily agree on this wholeheartedly, but like when I play Warzone, the entire time I'm playing it, I'm like, where did that guy come from? And I watched a kill cam, and this guy sprinted up on me, did not have dead silence. I didn't hear a damn thing. That doesn't happen in this game. It's not happened to me once. It happens to me in Warzone every time I play the game, whether I'm wearing these crappy earbuds, whether I'm wearing over ear headphones, and I have plenty of them, you know. But to me, Warzone is like it's the worst audio in any like major multiplayer game. But this game, you don't have that problem. If there's somebody sprinting up to you, you're going to hear it. You
Yeah.
know,
So
that comes in handy.
but that's another reason why it's nice, because it's for that reason that, or on that same premise, that gunshots are the same thing. See, I don't know if anybody's ever played Warzone, but if you have, when people fire guns, they could be 300 meters out and it sounds like they're right next to you. And there's other times where people fire right next to you and it sounds like they're 300 meters out. So there's no
Yeah.
way to really fucking figure out, is somebody close, is somebody far, unless they pop up on a radar because they're not using a silencer, which is
Or if
never.
someone's firing right above you or right below you, it could be on the same floor as you, above you or below you. You can't tell. You know. Maybe they'll fix it with Vanguard. I don't know. Real quick note: Vanguard's audio is super low, and I've talked to Chris who played it on Xbox, and I played to Nick who was also played it on PC. You could raise all the volume up to the max, and it's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Back to what you were saying. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, so the audio is really good in this game, and that does go a long way for me, obviously, having to deal with bullshit in Call of Duty, because it's really hard to determine, are people on top of you, below you. That is very true, but it's also hard to determine distance. So when like gunfights are happening, you don't know, like, is this going to be worth running out and trying to third party, or is that so far away that on my way to try to third party that, is the battle already over and am I walking into a death trap? Whereas with this game, it's very, like, I mean, it's super accurate. When it sounds like it's
Mm.
far away, it's pretty far away. When it's close, you know it's close. It does. There's no question. Like it changes as you get closer. Now I know Call of Duty has that feature too, but does it work? No, it doesn't work. It's stupid. So this game does a good job at that. One thing I'll say, kind of as a one of my bigger points, and the reason why I like this game a lot. So although you can have a match where things don't go your way, when I say that there's a way to come back and really like come back into the fold, so you can buy people back in this game. The stipulation here, or the factor that plays into whether or not you get somebody back on the map, is if you can get to their death box and recover their banner, essentially, and you bring it to respawn beacons, which another thing I love, again, because
Mm.
it eliminates the whole camping respawn beacons, is that there's deployable respawn beacons. So that means you can pick one up. It does not occupy a slot in your the main inventory of your bag. It's its own separate. It's like its own separate thing, which you can carry that or a heat shield to protect you from storm damage. Another great feature, so that you're not completely fucked if you get stuck out in the storm. But Yeah, if you can get the banner and you get to the respawn beacon, you bring people back. But it's like even in like the later rounds, it's very possible to, if you're like the third, let's say there's 3 teams left, you being one of them, you have, let's say maybe a trios game and one of your buddies died, or let's say both your buddies die, and you're able to make it to the respawn beacon, or you put one down, and you whatever, you get it done, and those other teams start going at it, and you realize that there's death boxes or spare loot around. I mean, you can make the most of that shit. Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
can literally pick up base weapons and still have a shot. Like,
Well, and no, it's game changing too. Like if you can happen upon maybe where a previous battle happened, there's a bunch of dead people, you might be able to get some really good loot, and all of a sudden you're back in the game when you were real behind before, which is cool too.
yeah. Whereas in like Call of Duty, it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna come in, you might pick up some decent weapons, maybe on the ground, but there's no loot left, there's no money, you're not calling in a loadout. A lot of times, once you fall behind, you're behind. There's no coming back. And if you do, it's really fortunate for you. But I mean, most of the times because of the camping and map positioning, it's really hard. I mean, this doesn't fall any differently than Warzone or really any other BR for that matter in terms of high ground wins. I mean, it really does. It's just going to go a long way. But what I do also really like is that because of the variety of characters they actually have people that can kind of negate that. I mean, there's characters that can fly. There's characters that can use transport, or I'm sorry, teleport. There's characters that can jump really high. There's characters that can climb really high. There's characters that can shoot grappling hooks and shoot over. I mean, there's so many ways to negate high ground battles that it makes it not only makes it interesting, but it also makes the game like really diverse in that way, because it doesn't mean that every time someone has high ground, they're just going to completely stomp you out. It gives them a really big advantage. Don't get me wrong, but there's still a chance. So I guess my main thing would be that there's a lot of things that are concurrent with other battle royales, but it's also a game that, because of how different it is and what it brings to the table, there's so many ways to tackle fights. There's so many ways you can go about it. And because of the abilities, because of the maps, because of all these things, and it makes for a really good game and something that you can go in and have a totally different experience every time you play, whether that's the map being different, trying out a new weapon, using a different character. I mean, there's so many things that factor into it. So for me, I mean, I'm really blown away. Again, I think a big reason why I wasn't getting as far into it in the beginning was because I don't know, maybe the game was too young, and maybe I didn't have enough time. Maybe I was like, maybe I needed to see it evolve a little bit more and get to a later stage in its, longevity. So, but here we are, and I'm having a great time. So I'm happy. I think everybody should try it out.
All right. So let me, before we move on to Vanguard, let me throw a couple questions at you. So if you were to think of a couple things that you would want in the game, like if you were to improve the game in any kind of way, just on the spot, I'll throw this at you. What do you think they could do to improve the game, make the game better?
That's a good question, actually. So I think right off the bat, I think one thing that stands out to me would be, probably it would probably have to be the clip size for most weapons, because
That's a good point.
I feel like even like in cases where you don't, I mean, you miss legitimately one bullet, even in those, like you're hitting 99% of your shots, it still could be rough. Like,
and it takes a while to reload too. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I still haven't reloaded.
Yeah, and then you get fucking murked. So maybe that would be one.
Yeah.
What about you? What would you say?
I was just thinking maybe different characters and then also quads. I think adding quads into the game would make a big difference. So I think one easy way to do that is just up the player count. So if it is 60, I'm going to assume that you're right. I don't know why in my stupid brain I can't remember what it was, but let's say it's 60. You're probably right. Up it to 80 or up it to 100, whatever, if you're going to make it quads. I would like to see quads in the game because we run into a problem where, we're always cutting somebody out. So you have your duos, you obviously have your solos, you have your trios, but we don't have quads. I think quads would make a big difference. And also, I think adding more characters. So obviously they've been rolling out characters as they go, but I think maybe either adding more often, or maybe adding more diverse ones, because there's definitely some that seem to kind of overlap where they're not really that drastically different than the other ones. I think here's the thing too, from the developers, Respawn Entertainment, who made Titanfall, give me a wall running character. Like even if it's like an ability that they have to use and they can't always wall run. I think coming from this developer and there's it almost feels like some of these areas in these different maps are built for wall running, but there's no wall running. There's no character that can do it. I would like to see that. That's not a big deal, but that's just a small thing. Um, yeah, off the top of my head, I think yeah, maybe adding a perk element of some kind. Just that, maybe don't make it like Call of Duty where you have a million different perks, but something. Maybe like what we kind of just discussed with the reload speed. Maybe something where either I can passively run a little faster, or do I want to be able to reload faster, or do I want a little higher defense? Maybe just some really basic perks. I think that would help the game a little bit. Or even if let's say it's an attachment. I mean, maybe there's some sort of attachment that besides just your whatever, your barrel, your clip, your magazine, your sight, maybe give us some sort of a ability to reload faster. Because that's one thing I definitely run into in this game where I'm just like, holy, what in the hell? I'm still not reloaded and I'm dead. And that's one thing I will give Warzone is like you're able to pick what perks you want. Do I want to be able to reload quickly? Do I want to be able to have better resistance against explosives? Do I want to be not detectable on a UAV? Or do I want to be able to hold two weapons? Like there's all these different perks and you can kind of tailor those perks to how you want to play. I feel like the game is kind of missing that element. And I don't think it would be that hard for them to add something. Make it basic. It doesn't have to be as in depth or as many options. Maybe just something a little bit basic. I think if they added that in, that I would definitely, I would like that. That would make the game better. Cool. Give me quads. Give me some perks of some kind.
And some new characters.
And some new characters, yeah, or more diverse characters. I feel like, and I know it's got to be tough, to really like fundamentally come up with a brand new idea and not make it overpowered, because I'm sure it's incredibly hard to balance that. Like you could probably very easily make a very overpowered character, so they have to probably tread very lightly when they're designing these characters and what their abilities are. So I get it, but yeah, those three things. I think that's what I would like to see.
So yeah, so I think they're getting there. I think that they've done a good job about, like you said, I mean, they're rolling out characters but I think even the characters that have overlapping things, I think the reason for doing that is so that people who get into the rhythm of using a certain character don't get asked out, because obviously, so I don't even know if we touched on this, but if a character gets picked, you cannot use that character. And they're locked in. So there's no like character swaps. In Paladins, you can offer a trade to see if somebody will, like, you can't do that in this game. So if someone steps away and they accidentally pick your character, it could be kind of rough. So it's almost nice to have.
That game is probably bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do agree. I think it'd be cool to see like just more of what they've already been doing and seeing them do like a little bit more diversity. What they do have is some people with essential perks, their passive skills. So both Caustic and Gibraltar, who are the two tanky characters of the game, have a passive skill that mitigates damage by 15% on them in general. So that's cool. But they also have things like Wraith, who has essentially, which is the perk in Call of Duty, which is a high alert. So you'll get a prompt if you're getting aimed at, if someone's sniping at you. If you don't realize that somebody's looking at you, it'll tell you. So I think they do a good job of it, but I would like to see more of that. And then obviously a new map would be cool. But anyways, there's a lot to be said about Apex. I'm sure as time goes on, as new stuff does roll out, we'll get back into it, and we'll be able to have like a little bit more to tell you guys about it. We're still fresh to this. It's only been a couple weeks. We've docked a lot of game time, but I'm sure that that'll be even more given another week, and maybe by next episode we'll have some more for you guys. But without further ado, we have some Call of Duty to talk about. So I have not played the beta, but Call of Duty Vanguard had their opening beta as recently. What did Robbie think of that?
So I don't know if anybody, and I'll be honest. I know in the last episode we kind of briefly talked about it. I was definitely, my expectations were quite low. Kind of say I compared it to Cold War. That felt the same way I felt about Cold War, and Cold War kind of did disappoint me the way I thought it would. Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. There's fun to be had. It was definitely a better value than like Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which didn't even have a campaign mode or zombies or anything. It just kind of had the battle royale and multiplayer. Um, I no, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like sugarcoat Cold War and make it sound better. Yeah, it definitely was not my game. I didn't buy it. Thank goodness you bought it for me, and it was nice and convenient for leveling up weapons. It worked out for me. But not the best game, not my favorite game. Aside from zombies, I did not really put any time into it. I played like maybe 2 campaign levels, and I was like, okay, this Michael Bay filth, I can't play this. Um, but Vanguard, okay, I know nothing about the campaign, so I'm strictly talking about the beta and the multiplayer. So my expectations were kind of like way down here, and I would say my experience was probably like right around here. So I was pleasantly surprised. So maybe it was one of those classic cases of you have very low expectations, so you end up being more impressed by the game. But for me, I definitely like the feel of the weapons, the map, the maps that I played. There's 3 maps in the game. One of them is like kind of a very interior nighttime level. I don't know the name of it. The other one is like outside. You're kind of in like a looks like the Pacific, probably somewhere in Japan. I'm assuming it's the setting is World War II. They're all pretty good maps. The third map is like a outside, maybe somewhere in Europe. So it almost looks like an expensive mansion, kind of more like that first map I was talking about. That's at night. A lot of interior, not as big, lots of close quarter fighting. Um, my opinion of the maps, good, well designed, fun. You still have the problem with people circling the map, trying to get in the spawn, trying to kill you. That's Call of Duty. You're not getting away from that, apparently. I mean, I think maybe setting up a spawn territory or something where people die if they come into your. I don't know how they're ever going to fix it, but they never fix it, and you're just constantly getting shot in the back. That's every Call of Duty I've ever played. But maps overall impressed with, graphics pretty impressed with, looks good, weapons all feel nice. I think this game is running on I don't know if I would call it's the same engine as Modern Warfare, but as far as I've seen from the small amount of information that I've looked up, this has the same gameplay engine, the same game engine as like Modern Warfare, or it's based on that. So it feels very similar. You can mount to cover. It's smooth. It doesn't have that Cold War arcadey Black Ops feel. It feels more like Modern Warfare, which for me personally, I prefer that. That's my preference. I like that a lot more. But it's a good blend of like, it feels the same, but it feels kind of new. Like it feels a little fresh. It doesn't feel like outdated or anything. But yeah, again, low expectations. So I was impressed. I don't know about everybody else. If you had high expectations, let us know how you felt about it. Were you disappointed? Did it live up to your expectations? Were you like me? You were pleasantly surprised. But I got to say, I like it, man. It feels good. It reminds me of World at War, which we've discussed in other episodes, where I was kind of hesitant thinking it wouldn't be like World at War. And now I kind of feel like, oh, I feel like they are giving a nod to World at War, which I love that game. That was one of my favorite Call of Duty games for the story and for the multiplayer. So, and that was the first game that brought us zombies too. I do feel like it's doing an okay job at kind of feeling like World at War. You can even call in dogs, attack dogs. That's one of the kill streaks. I got it, where it's insane, man. You just get so many kills. But yeah, man, all the weapons feel pretty viable. Like it didn't matter whether I used an MP40, a Thompson submachine gun, a MG42 light machine gun, a M1 Garand for kind of mid to long range, the sniper. Like everything felt good. Like everything felt formidable. Like you could use it. You could customize everything, like from every Call of Duty game. As you level the weapon up and you get progression, now you have new attachments you can use. Obviously the weapons get drastically better as you use attachments. There's a lot of default classes you can use, and I almost say stick with those until you really start getting a lot of attachments for weapons. But I think the beta actually ends today, so it might even already be over. But I gotta say, I liked it. I'm definitely like not to the point where I'm like, I'm going to buy the game. I don't know. I'm definitely going to like look up reviews, look up videos, see what other people say about the game. But I was pleasantly surprised. That was my feelings on it. I had a good time with it. I had some, fun experiences. Again, some annoying experiences, which I feel like you always run into with every Call of Duty. So if you're a Call of Duty fan, you're gonna feel right at home in terms like you're not gonna be surprised by any of those things. But if you're let's say you're a Battlefield guy and you don't like Call of Duty, this game is not going to win you over. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like Call of Duty and you've never liked Call of Duty, you're not gonna like this game. I mean, that based on my initial impressions of this beta, you were definitely not going to like this game. There's nothing really any drastically different. It might be good for people that are into Call of Duty. I think you might get some fun out of it. Also, let's be honest, there's going to be Warzone integration. So I'm assuming probably most, if not all the weapons are going to be in the new Warzone, and we're getting a new map with that as well. So they're probably going to have the same thing they have with Cold War, where if you own Vanguard, the best way to level up those weapons is going to be like zombies or regular multiplayer in Vanguard. Whereas if you're using the weapons in Warzone, it's going to take forever to rank them up. So there's probably going to be that same incentive where you feel like obligated if you're really into Warzone, that you're going to want to pick up Vanguard so you can rank your weapons up. But I will say I was pleasantly surprised. Again, you're not winning over anybody new, I don't think, but we'll see. I mean, I have an open mind. Things I've seen about the story, to me, I'm not super impressed with. Again, it kind of looks like I saw a stealth mission where like this person was like sneaking around, stabbing everybody in the back, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just not my thing from a Call of Duty game. Like, if I'm playing Splinter Cell, great. If I'm playing Metal Gear Solid, but like, I don't want. That's not what I want from, Modern Warfare. Not from Modern Warfare. That's not what I want from Call of Duty. But yeah. Overall, liked it. I would say let's go play it if it's still live, but I don't think it is. I think it's over. So I don't think you're going to get a taste of it until it's out. If you even decide to get it, you might not. I don't know.
I gotta be honest. I don't think I'm gonna get it. But
you weren't even inclined to play the beta, so
that's true. I mean,
that speaks a lot, right?
It's not impossible. I might do it just for the sake of saying, hey, I have it and I played it. I guess I'll wait and see, and maybe as more stuff kind of comes along, and I'll be able to obviously take, whatever experience you have kind of living vicariously through and be able to assume what I need to about the game and it's worth in buying. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to give more thought to. I don't know. I mean, right now, I'm so into the Apex grind. That's really all the time that I've had to sit down and play has been spent doing that. But time will tell. But yeah, I think in our next episode, we'll touch a little bit more on Apex, given that we'll have a little bit more time. Even a week can really make a difference, and we'll start to see maybe where some of the bigger issues lie if we're not privy to them yet. And maybe we'll fall more in love with it. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some more information regarding Vanguard. And we'll be able to fill you guys in a little bit more if you're not already like keeping tabs on it. And then until then, we do hope that all of you are drinking dope ass beer. Again, shout out to Hog Island, some Nauset Caustic Haze,
and Licking Hole Creek. And one thing too, I'd like to talk about in the next episode. We'll see how it goes because maybe something will happen between now and then, and we want to talk about something else. But I'd like to talk about Halo. So Halo Infinite is having like some sort of beta tomorrow and then this weekend. Somehow I didn't get in. I applied. I didn't get in, so I'm disappointed I won't be able to play that, but I've been playing a lot of Halo 5 multiplayer, having a great time with it. I got to say, I hated the campaign, but I think Halo 5 multiplayer, the gameplay is some of the best gameplay I've played in a long time. So good. I thought that years ago, and playing it again now, I think the same. Also, playing Halo 2 on Legendary with my buddy Graham. Oh my God, dude, this game is like bonkers insane, so hard. Like frustratingly hard, like Dark Souls level hard. At least it feels like that. It feels like that. But I'd like to talk a little Halo maybe in the next episode too. But we'll see. I mean, maybe something will happen between now and then, and we talk about something else.
We're gonna circle back.
Dude, look, it's always circles. Look at Beers and Ball. Look, circle. There's so many circles. It's like we're orbiting the sun right now, dude. Why is all of life and all of existence? Everything circles. It circles. There's circles involved. We're rotating. We're orbiting. His head's circling. Look. I mean, my eyes are circles.
That's a fact. His head. His head's like an oval.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I don't know.
Well, we're going to circle back for you guys in our next episode.
Ah,
Again, until then, drink some fucking dope beer, play some good games, catch up on that Vanguard, give Apex another shot if you fell off, and if you're still on it, keep up the fucking grind, and we'll see you guys next time.